Hey everyone, it's Justin. So I'm getting ready to send in my MacBook Pro to Apple to get its infamous butterfly keyboard repaired under the Apple Keyboard Repair program, but before I just pack it up and drop it off and send it on its way, there are a few things I need to do to get it prepared because I'm going to sell it after it returns. So if you're in the same boat as I am, then I'd like to share my process with you. If you saw my last video, then you know that I've recently moved from the MacBook Pro to the new 2020 iMac. If you haven't seen it and you're considering getting the new iMac, then I highly recommend checking it out because I'll tell you how to save a lot of money. Alright, so let's get on with it. The first step is to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and then contact Apple support where you can describe your problem. I did this online and tech support was fast and very helpful. I had the option of scheduling a time to go drop the computer off in the store, but I wasn't exactly sure how long it was going to take me to get it ready, so I decided to mail it in instead on my own time. In this case, Apple will overnight a shipping box for you with packing materials and an instruction sheet. The instruction sheet is a good place to start, but we can do even better. Now, if you're going to be keeping your machine after you get it back, then technically all you need to do is make sure you have a good backup before you send it in. You are making backups, right? Apple's Time Machine is a fine option, and if you aren't already making backups, then I highly recommend getting into the habit of doing so because you never know exactly when your machine's going to crash and you need a backup. I recommend an external drive like the OWC Envoy Express, or even better, the OWC Mercury Elite Pro Dual Mini, which lets you set up RAID mirroring so that you have two backups locally. I've linked to both of these in the description below. Now, assuming that you have a backup, you could just go through Apple's instruction sheet and go on your merry way. But if you're paranoid about your data like I am, and you should be, then you should really erase your computer before you send it in. Even Apple suggests doing so as a best practice. And even if you're using full disk encryption, it's really a no-brainer for me because I'm losing control of the machine. And after all, who's to say that your machine won't get lost in the mail, stolen by a gang of thieves, or destroyed by computer gremlins? There's simply no guarantee that your computer will come back in one piece the way that you left it. And if you're planning on selling your computer when you get it back from repair like I am, then you have to go through these steps anyway. Now, assuming that I've convinced you that wiping the machine is the way to go, and that it's critical to have backups, before you hit that erase button, you want to make sure that you have a backup that works. Now, this is a little bit more difficult if you don't already have a new computer, or if you're not planning on getting one, but it's important to make sure that your backups actually work as part of a comprehensive data protection strategy. For example, even though I used Time Machine to set up my new computer, when I tried to launch Lightroom for the first time, it said my catalog was corrupt. So in my case, I was able to fix this pretty easily by simply copying the catalog over again from the old laptop to the new iMac, since I still had the old laptop. But it really pays to check all of your files to make sure everything works. You'll save yourself a lot of time and frustration down the road by not having to recreate things from scratch. Alright, with backups out of the way, the next thing to do is to deauthorize any apps that have special licensing requirements. You're going to want to set aside some time for this because it takes a while to get it right. And the more apps you have, the longer it's going to take. But just like having a good backup, it'll save you a lot of time and frustration down the road because it can help prevent the situation where you go to install that app and it says, wait Justin, you've already installed all your available licenses. And you realize the last one was on that machine that you just sold a week ago. Apple has made it pretty easy to manage this with all of their software and for apps installed via the App Store, but third parties not so much. Some apps will recognize the new computer as the old computer, and other apps will recognize the new computer as an entirely new device. So it's a good idea to go through all of your apps and see what's what. So here's a list of some of the more common apps you should check, whether you're a general user or if you're a creative. iTunes allows 5 computers to be authorized at any given time. Deauthorizing my old computer didn't seem to work, but choosing the deauthorize all devices option and then adding the new computer back in did work, so that's probably the easiest route to take. For Clean My Mac, go to Activation Info and just deauthorize the old computer. As an aside, if you're not already using Clean My Mac, it's a great program that automates a lot of basic maintenance tasks on your computer. If you use Evernote, it only allows 2 devices on the free tier, so you should deactivate it on your old computer. Authy, which provides 2-factor authentication codes, is a bit strange. It didn't recognize my new iMac as a new device, so instead of trying to remove the device and set it up again using my phone, it's easiest to just click Log Out and Reset Device on the old computer while you still have it. If you use Adobe Creative Cloud, then you can simply sign out. If you use Motion VFX plugins for Final Cut Pro, then you can easily remove the old device from each plugin from either your new or old computer. It's a bit tedious, but it works. There are of course countless other apps out there, but hopefully this demonstrates the general idea. And if you go through all of this and somehow you still forget to remove a license, then usually there's another way to do it after the fact. For example, you can reset all authorizations for iTunes, or you can remove devices from your Apple ID. Next, it's a good idea to check all of your online accounts for authorized devices and remove any devices that are no longer necessary. For example, you should check all of your bank accounts, your Robinhood account, Dropbox, and any other accounts that are tied to your computer and that you either leave logged in all the time or log into regularly to see which devices might have access or have recently logged in. It's a good idea to check on these on a routine basis anyway, because this type of auditing process is just good security practice. At this point, it's pretty safe to go through the Apple-provided instructions to get your machine ready to send in. These include signing out of iCloud if you haven't already, and turning off your firmware password if you're using one. And if you are going to be erasing your machine, then the Apple support guide, What to Do Before You Sell, Give Away, or Trade in Your Mac, contains the steps to finalize wiping your machine to get it ready to send in. And with all that, I finally feel comfortable boxing up my laptop and sending it in, confident that it's ready to be repaired, and it's ready for sale when it gets back. So if you have any questions about this process, then drop them down in the comments below and I'll see what I can do to help. I hope this video was useful for you. If it was, please consider smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Hey again, so before I could even edit this video, Apple had already repaired and returned the laptop to me. I think from the time that I dropped it off at FedEx and it got shipped out to the time it arrived back on my doorstep was about 48 hours. And not only did they fix the keyboard, everything seems to be good here, everything seems to work right, no keys falling off anymore. They basically gave me an entirely new computer. I had only asked for the keyboard repair, and then I mentioned there were some dark spots on the LED backlight that they could look into, but I didn't even expect that to get fixed. When I got the repair order back here, they did a lot more than that. They, of course, fixed the keyboard. They replaced the entire display assembly, which I was not expecting. They replaced the battery because they said it was swollen. And then for some reason they replaced the entire logic board. As you know, that's the motherboard of the computer. And I don't know why it was working fine when I shipped it out. They say no power, no light. So yeah, no complaints for me. It's basically a brand new computer as far as I'm concerned. As far as all the horror stories you hear about Apple support, I'm pretty sure those are in the minority. And from what I hear, Apple support's generally pretty good, especially when it comes to repairing computers. This isn't the first time I've heard this happen, where people have gotten an entirely new computer out of the process. So that's all. I just wanted to give you an update on how everything went. Oh, and I finally broke down and bought a light so you can finally see me. That's it. I'll see you next time.